Do you sometimes find yourself fumbling around in your Microsoft Office products like Word and Excel and PowerPoint, looking for the different things that you want to do? You might not know that the ribbon at the top that shows all the different actions is actually customizable. You can make changes, you can remove things that you're not using, and much, much more. I'll show you how to customize the Microsoft Office ribbon today on Tuesday Tech Training. Hello, and welcome to today's Tuesday Tech Training. My name is Jennifer Stewart. I'm the owner of Gateway Productivity, and I'm a tech and productivity trainer. Today, I'll show you how to customize the Microsoft Office ribbon. And for those who don't know what this is, think about if you get into Microsoft Word or Excel or any of those Office products, even Outlook, it is that bar at the top, the big one that has all the actions. Now yours may be shrunk, but when you go to say home at the top and a big thing comes down, if yours is hidden, that's called the ribbon that has all the different actions or toolbars or tools, whatever you want to call them. That's what that is. That's called the Microsoft ribbon. And they came out with that several years ago. And so that ribbon changes depending on which part of the menu you're in. And so I will show you that ribbon and then show you how to customize that ribbon in this video. I will show you how to add different things that maybe you use all the time that you have trouble finding. I will help you to remove the things that you don't ever use from that ribbon and make it a lot more efficient for you. And it should save you a lot of time from having to look for those things that you're constantly needing to do your work. I'll start by digging into Microsoft Word's ribbon, and I'm going to show you in there how to change the ribbon, where to change the ribbon, and that will be the same throughout all of the Microsoft programs. But in the Microsoft Word, we'll really dig into, okay, this is how you add, this is how you remove, things like that. And then I'll briefly show you the other things like Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, all of those, so you can see how they look a little bit different. And I can explain a few things that might be slightly confusing for you if you were to go in and change the ribbon in those. So first, let's jump into Microsoft Word. First, let's start by figuring out where we are and where the ribbon is in relation to us. And so this is the big bar right here at the top that is considered the ribbon. And you can see it's broken into sections. You've got your clipboard, font, paragraph, styles, and so on. And so all of this is customizable. You can customize whether or not you want each of these sections to be in here. In some of the sections, you can customize what's inside of them. I believe everything in the home is pretty set. You can't really change what's inside of them. But if you don't use one, you can remove it from the ribbon on this main screen. And for those of you who are looking at yours and you're like, no, mine doesn't look like this, you may have a collapsed ribbon. So let's say you're somebody who really likes to have all the space on the screen and you only want to get to the ribbon when you need an action. You need to take an action or do something to your document. If that is you, you will go to the right-hand side. So anywhere in this blank space, and you have to kind of be careful about it. You see how I right-clicked in this area and it didn't quite give me the correct menu. So it needs to be down in this ribbon area. If you can find a blank space to right-click, it might even work. Yes, it'll work here as well. So when you click, you'll at least see these two options. You may see the quick access toolbar as well. That's a future video. For now, we are looking at collapse the ribbon. When I collapse the ribbon, you can see it disappears. It gives you more space on the screen. But then when I go and click home, it opens up that ribbon so I can see what I need to see and grab what I need to grab. And then when I click back to my document, it disappears. So that's collapsing the ribbon. So if you are seeing these items here, but you're not seeing a ribbon all the time, that is what you have as a collapsed ribbon. If you would like to open it back up and see the entire ribbon all the time, just right-click anywhere around the menu items here. And then you'll see that same menu. It's just got two things on it now. And if you click again on collapse the ribbon, it will uncheck it. We'll do that. And now you can see it's there all the time. No matter where I click, that ribbon is stuck there. So that is how you collapse it or keep it around all the time. And so now that we know that piece, let's talk about how to customize this and make it exactly what you need. And I will tell you, this is quite a process. So what I would recommend is take your time, really think about, is there something that you're constantly looking for in any of these programs? We'll look at Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook in a minute. But if there's anything you're constantly looking for that you need to do, you can rearrange these things so that that is at the very front of the ribbon, and you can see we've got a different ribbon for each of these items. Insert ribbon's different, the draw ribbon is different, and so on and so forth. You can choose which of these menu items you want to have up here, and then you can choose the sections within that. And in some cases, you may be able to change what exactly is here in the different sections, and we'll look at that. So let's start with the home. And I'm going to do that same right click. And if you're on a Mac, it might be a 2-finger tap on your mouse if you have a flat mouse. So we're going to right click and we're going to do customize the ribbon. This brings us up. Don't let this scare you. This is what the full menu looks like. You are not going to have to do everything here. In fact, you probably don't want to do too many things at once because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. But this is what it looks like. I do want to show you the other way to get to this. If you're having trouble with that right click, then you can go to File, and you can go down here to Options, and we can go right here to the Customize ribbon. This is exactly where it took us when we did the right click and Customize ribbon. That was just the long way to get to it if you're having trouble with that right click. So here we are back at our Customizing the Ribbon menu. And the way this is broken up is the left-hand side is either commands, which I've been calling actions. The actions you might want to take are the commands you might want to use. There is the popular commands. Those are the things that most people use, and so they have that ready for you. If you want to see the ones that aren't currently included in the ribbon, then you can pull that option. If you want to just see all of the options, you can do that. And that is a very long list, so don't let it overwhelm you. I would recommend probably sticking with the popular commands or the commands that aren't already in the ribbon. I would skip the macros. That's really for heavy-duty users. The File tab is this File option up here. So you even have access to do some customization there. You can see all the tabs. So that is all the tabs along the top. And sometimes you'll see some things that maybe you don't ever use, and I wouldn't worry about those. I just focus on the things that you're going to use frequently. And then the main tabs. Again, this is kind of like the popular commands. These are the things that most people want to see at the top. Tool tabs. These are the things that have specific tools associated with them, such as, say, this 3D model right here, chart designing, things like that. Again, that may be above your head, and that's perfectly fine. And then you can do custom tabs and groups. Again, if you get really excited about this, go ahead and look into that. I would probably stick to, at the very beginning, popular commands and maybe the main tabs. Stick to those, and that way you don't get overwhelmed. So that's the left-hand side. Those are the things you could choose from. The right-hand side is showing us the way that things are built in the ribbon. So right now it's showing me the main tab. So that's these up here along the top. So you can see my home, insert, draw, and so on. These up above home are often menus that are hidden. And unless you are using these things, you won't see those menus. So I wouldn't worry too much about those. I would go from home on down. And those are the things you should be seeing up at the top. Here you also can see all the different tabs that are available, or just the tool tabs if that's what you need to drill down into. I would probably keep it on the main tabs, makes it a lot easier. So from here, what you can see, we're going to stick with home for now, since that's where we are. I can open this up and see all the different things that are available in that toolbar, as they call it. So this little toolbar is part of the ribbon. And so these are the things that are built in. You can see that they're grayed out. So you can see I cannot add or remove. These are things that are built into this clipboard and they are always going to be there and you can't do anything with that. But that's fine. Those are usually the things that are included in the clipboard. You will find that the ones in home, all of these different ones are going to have that same thing. They're going to be grayed out, and that's just the way they're built. But what's great is you can rearrange them. So if you're constantly needing the font information, we could take font and put it above clipboard. And what I did is I clicked and dragged. So let's say I also want paragraph in front of clipboard. So I can click on it and I'm dragging it up and I'm watching that black line. I'm watching where it goes. So I want it to be under font. I'm going to drop that. And so you can rearrange these all you want. And you can also remove sections. So let's say you're somebody who you don't use the styles, you don't care about the styles, you want them out of here because they take up so much room on that ribbon. We can click on styles and then you can see right here our remove button appears. So we're going to remove that. And it doesn't all happen automatically. These are pretty big changes. So you have to actually click OK to have all the changes happen. Do know that this is happening just in Microsoft Word. This isn't going to affect any of your other Microsoft programs. So we've rearranged, we've gotten rid of a section. Let's go ahead. I don't ever use the sensitivity section, so I'm going to remove that one as well. And we'll just start with that. That is changing up our little toolbars inside our ribbon. And I'm going to click OK so you can see what that looks like. You can see it shrunk it. It moved my font first, paragraph second, clipboard third. So I can immediately get to the things that I need and I'm constantly feeling like I'm searching for that are normally, further down here. So now all of a sudden I have this organized just the way I want it. That is the beauty of customizing the ribbon. So let's go back in here. Let's say you accidentally did something and you deleted or you removed a section or a toolbar that you really needed. So we can right click and customize the ribbon again. If you did that, what I would recommend is go down here to the reset right here, customizations reset. You can click this. You can reset just this ribbon tab. Or if you want to reset everything you've done because you feel like you messed up, you can do that. I'm just going to do this ribbon tab since that's the only one that I've changed. I'm going to reset that and then I'm going to click OK and everything goes back to the way it was. So you can always go back to the start. Don't worry about it. You always can go back. Now you can't just undo one thing. You do have to undo all of it. So just be aware of that. Just be real careful as you go through this. And I'm going to go back to our customizing the ribbon. So let's say that I want to add something. I'm going to go to the things that are not in the ribbon currently. And I want to add the address book, let's say. And I want that to show up on the home screen. I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to click add. Okay. And so commands need to be added to custom groups. To create a group, pick a tab in the list and then click new group. So this is where we need to create a new tab or a new group, things like that. So I'm going to create a new group. There we go. And then I want to add the address book to that. And there we go. And I can name this if I just click on this and here we go. You can either right click and rename or remove it if you accidentally added it. You can also rename down here. So we're going to go ahead and rename and I'm going to name this the address book. That's pretty self-explanatory, but that's okay. We have to have a place to put it. So the group is the toolbar that I've been talking about. And then this is the action that would live inside that. So if I'm going to go ahead and take out the styles again so I have space for this so I don't feel like there's too much going on there. I'm going to click on that and remove. And then I'm going to click OK. And here you can see now I've got my address book and I can go straight to that. Hopefully you can start to see how much time this can save you when you build in the things that you truly need. What I recommend here is just doing a quick scroll through at least the popular commands. See if there's anything here that you feel like you need on a regular basis and is not where you need it. It's not easy to get to. Then you could potentially create a group over here and put it in there so that it's easy to find. And what we also can do is, let's say you never use the drawing tool here or the drawing part of the menu, the tab. We will uncheck that and click OK. And then all of a sudden you see now draw has disappeared. So you have a lot of flexibility here and a lot of power in this customizing process. Again, start small and just think about the few things that you constantly feel like you're looking for and try playing with those and see how they do. And if you don't like what happens, you can always go back and do that reset that we talked about. Next, we'll look at how this is in Excel and then in PowerPoint and then in Outlook. Now we're in Excel and we can do exactly the same process. It works just the same. We do a right click and here's where we can collapse the ribbon if we want to, and we're going to customize. Obviously, you can see the commands or actions are very different in Excel versus Microsoft Word where we were before, but it works exactly the same because you still have your menu or tabs up at the top, and then you've got the ribbon associated with each one of those tabs. And then within each of the sections or the groups, you have your different actions or commands. So that's how it's built. The commands are the little piece, the group is the next piece, the tab is the next piece. Here, I can see that my drawing is turned off. So I want to turn that back on. And I am constantly doing things with the cells section. So I want to move that a little bit further forward. And I am never using the analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And remember, you click on it and then your remove is in the middle. And then when I click OK, it does the rearranging. It moved my cells here. We can see that draw is back. And we can also see that the analyzing section is completely gone. So that is what you can do in Excel. Again, the main thing is the groups are going to be different. The tabs are slightly different, and your commands are obviously going to be a little bit different in Excel. PowerPoint works exactly the same. We can right click and customize. And this time we have some different items that are available. And you can see here, this menu pretty much never changes. So we could go to the commands that are not in the ribbon currently and see all of those. And you can take a quick scroll through, see if there's anything that strikes your fancy that you want to make sure is on the home screen or something like that. But we'll go back to our popular commands. Here, I do want to point out there are quite a few options up at the top. Again, remember, these are the menus or tabs that show up when you're in specific sections of PowerPoint, and you may not even use most of these, which is perfectly fine. So just know that that's what those are. The actual ones that you're seeing at the top start from home and down. Some of you may be wondering about this import and export tool here. That is going to be for people who are well versed in all of this customization. I would not worry about this at this beginning stage. Lastly, we will look at the Outlook ribbon. And this one is especially important because you might have some add-ins to your Outlook. For instance, here you can see I've got Meeting Poll set up. I have Google Drive set up. I have a lot of different things here that are set up. So I might want to get rid of some of these things I'm not using so that it's easier to access the things that I am. So if I right click, here we have an extra option that I wanted to go through. For Outlook, we have our Use Simplified ribbon. They have something set up for you that's a little bit simpler if you're getting overwhelmed. And so this gives you a little bit more space to see your emails, which they know is very important. And then they have shrunk some of our different groups. So we can click here and see more options. Here we can see cleaning up conversations and so on. So there are extra things from the drop downs that you might want. And here we can get to the things that got cut off with our 3 dots. Now, if you don't like the simplified view, again, do your little right click, and we're going to use the classic ribbon is the larger one. And as far as customizing our ribbon, let's look at that. You can see it's a little bit different here because we have our different sections of Outlook, and there's a lot more that could be customized. Now, this menu stays the same. And so here we're looking again at our main tabs, which are across the top. In this case, I have a lot going on in my ribbon, so I'm going to look at what I could remove. I do not need the translating, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And I am not using, let's see, the report message, the protection piece. I'm not using that right now, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I don't usually need to find people, so I'll get rid of that section too. And then I can create, like I did before, a new group for something specific. And I actually want that to be at the very end. And let's try new task in there. So I can very quickly click on that and create a new task. And I'm going to name that tasks. Okay. And we'll see what happens. You can see it shrunk it down a little bit so I don't have so much going on. And I can very quickly click on new task and it's going to open a new task for me. So this is how it can save you some frustration of having to feel like you need to go here down to your tasks and then create a new one. Or if you have to go to new items and then click task, you can create a little group in here that has those quick actions that you need to do. Now you do have that in the quick steps up here as well. Outlook likes to give you a lot of different ways to do things so you can figure out which is the best for you. As I've said throughout, take this very slowly. Maybe add a couple of different things, maybe create that group that we talked about where it's got quick actions that you take on a regular basis, especially in Outlook, creating a new task, or maybe a category, something with categories, whatever that is for you. Just add a couple things, see how it works for you. Maybe remove the stuff that is in your way and cluttering up your toolbar, and see how the customized ribbon can help save you time. Have you had a light bulb moment from this training? If so, please let me know in the comments below. You can also put questions there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You can also give the video a thumbs up, or you could share it with someone you think could benefit from the information. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the red button below. Once you do that, you'll see a bell icon, and you can click on that if you'd like to receive notifications each time a new video is posted. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.